The Feud That Sparked the Renaissance. How Brunelleschi and Ghiberti Changed the Art World. By Paul Robert Walker. Read by Simon Vance. Preface. The world having for so long been without artists of lofty soul or inspired talent, Heaven ordained that it should receive from the hand of Filippo the greatest, the tallest, and the finest edifice of ancient and modern times, demonstrating that Tuscan genius, although moribund, was not yet dead. Vasari, Lives of the Artists. Something happened in Florence 600 years ago, something so unique and miraculous that it changed our world forever. We call it the Renaissance, a rebirth of ancient art and learning, yet it was more than a rebirth or rediscovery of ancient secrets. It was a first birth, the beginning of a modern consciousness, a modern way of seeing and representing the world around us. It was the defining moment for the societal role we call the artist. It was the beginning of art with a capital A. There had been art and artists before, of course. Great lyrical, naturalistic art in ancient Greece and Rome, evocative if limited art in the Byzantine Empire and medieval Europe, a rough yet brilliant grasping for ancient lyricism and naturalism in the early 1300s. But what happened in Florence between 1399 and 1452, the first half of what the Italians call the Quattrocento, was nothing less than an artistic revolution. And the men who fired the first shots and led the charge for half a century were Filippo Brunelleschi and Lorenzo Ghiberti. Their pupil Donatello marched beside them and soon took the lead in his own chosen field, while a younger man called Masaccio later joined them and took the lead in his. Together, these four artists laid the groundwork for all who came after them, creating a new art with little to build upon except shadows of the past and the brilliant striving of their own creative spirits. Hordes of tourists visit Florence every year, and it is safe to say that every one of them gazes in wonder at Brunelleschi's dome, 8 white marble ribs arching impossibly toward heaven, 8 massive sections of masonry faced with red terracotta tile, topped with an elegant marble lantern against the pale blue Tuscan sky. They gather in front of the nearby church of John the Baptist, the baptistry, and admire Ghiberti's famous paradise doors, not knowing perhaps that the shiny panels are imperfect replicas. They search out Donatello's sculpture, and perhaps they cross the Arno to see Masaccio's frescoes in the Brancacci chapel. Ironically, many miss Ghiberti's other set of doors on the north face of the baptistry, for these are real, not so shiny, and still used as doors rather than displayed as art. Yet it was these doors, and the competition to create them, that gave birth to the Renaissance. The idea of the competition as a turning point in the history of art was expressed by Lorenzo himself in the Commentaries, the first self-analytical literary work by a visual artist in the post-classical world. Lorenzo won the competition, so it was natural for him to see it as a defining moment. But even so, he was right, and few critics in the last 550 years have challenged the fundamental idea. The real question is, to whom did this moment belong? Was it Lorenzo's moment, as he maintained, or did it rightfully belong to his rival, the man who didn't make the doors, Filippo Brunelleschi? This latter idea was expressed in The Life of Brunelleschi, an extraordinary biography written during the 1480s, 4 decades after Brunelleschi's death. The first full-length biography of an artist since Roman times, the life, or vita, is attributed by most scholars to Antonio di Tuccio Manetti, a mathematician who as a young man knew Brunelleschi as an old man. Manetti saw the competition as a youthful disappointment that forced Brunelleschi to follow a new and higher destiny as an architect and the leading force of the artistic Renaissance. It is Manetti who first sets forth the idea of a lifelong conflict between Filippo and Lorenzo, beginning with the competition for the doors, continuing through their work on the dome and beyond. For Manetti, Brunelleschi is a man who lost the battle but won the war. And
Sample complete. Ready to continue?